Good day everyone and welcome back to the 2021 Nest Box series. In it, we're following two pairs of blue tits. One, Biddy and Miley, has eggs laid and is in the process of incubating them. They're due to hatch around the 5th and the 6th. This is Biddy here, incubating her eggs in the side view nest box. And we also have Mork and Mindy over in the more traditional camera angle, the straight down view in this nest box. You can see them both there. Mork feeding Mindy there. And most of this video is going to concentrate on Mork and Mindy, as Mindy does over the next 3 days a tremendous amount of nest building. It goes from this to actually the nest being completed. Now to see all that, I've had to speed up the footage. So you will see Mindy here going at 100 miles per hour. I just get tired even looking at her. But don't worry, we will be stopping in and checking in on Biddy and Miley every day. It's just as Biddy is incubating now, there's just not a huge amount to look at, as she's just sitting there cozy on her eggs and waiting for them to hatch. But thankfully, as I've mentioned, we have Mindy at the moment to look at her, build her nest, and by God, she doesn't disappoint. She goes full at it. Loads of nesting material brought in, loads of nesting shuffles, and she turns out with a real pretty little nest. And I'm going to take this opportunity while we're looking at Mindy building her nest to say, you probably have noticed that I'm not posting just as much. There's about a video a week being able to be put out. And I'd love to be able to do more, but as it is at the moment, I am studying for exams that I am due to sit in the next 2 weeks. So please bear with me over the next 2 weeks, as it's going to continue like that, a video a week or even less just on the week of the exams. But don't fret, as my recording device, everything is going to be recorded and everything will make its way up to YouTube as soon as I get a chance to after the exams. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the wee bell icon, so when I do upload, you'll get a notification on your phone. And with that being said, that brings us on to the second, and Biddy gives us a glimpse of her 5 eggs. But she's never really gone longer than 5 to 10 minutes, and she's back on those eggs and keeping them nice and warm. And indeed, it's very important she does this, as once the life cycle of the egg has started, once incubation has started, it's very important that those eggs are kept warm, as they're more likely to die once the incubation has started, rather than when the eggs were laid but not incubated yet. But they're worries that Mindy does not have just yet. Her only concern is getting this nest built, and today is another extremely busy day for this bird. I tell you, she has made this nest building look easy with how fast she has built it, or how fast she does build it. And indeed, it's probably the most impressive feat of nest building that I've managed to capture on footage yet. She goes from this to pretty much the nest being built by the end of the day, and she even starts roosting in the nest tonight. So at the moment, she's bringing in more moss and grassy materials to make a bedding for her nest. And when that nest cup is compressed around her enough, what she starts doing is filling in the bottom, weaving in some more structure, and then bringing in some softer material to fill that nest cup up with. So be sure to keep an eye on that progression, as all that happens in this day's worth of footage. On the second, she goes from bringing in moss, grass to softer material until her nest is pretty much complete by the end of the day. We can already see that the bottom of the nest cup is slowly but surely being covered. We even see her first feather being brought in. And I've said a few times during this series that I always love to see the differences in two birds. So the likes of Mindys Nest and Mindy's are completely two different types of nest. In my opinion anyway, Biddy's is quite a rough around the edges nest, where Mindy seems to be a little bit more of a uniform nest builder when we think of the regular run-of-the-mill blue tit's nest. And we can really see the progress that Mindy has made at the end of the day. You can see her here at normal speed bringing in some synthetic material, some peak strands of something. And with only the first material being brought into the box 6 days ago, this nest has came on at tremendous pace. And Mindy decides that she's made such a good job that she decides to roost in it. And this is her coming in at 7:30 as the night camera is on, and she actually proceeds to roost in the nest. Now, as you have probably noticed in the thumbnail, we had an unwelcome visitor on the Biddy and Mindy Nest. During the night, a cat made its way up onto the tree and onto the top of the nest box, and this is the footage that was caught on the outside camera. So you can see the cat has successfully sniffed out the nest, but thankfully is not able to do too much about it, but not for lack of trying. But my heart has to go out to all the nests that those cats have sniffed out that isn't protected by a nest box. But thankfully Biddy was unharmed in the ordeal. The following day was a terribly rainy day, and just look at poor Miley coming in here in the next few moments with some food for Biddy, and just look how wet and ragged he is as he's been flying through the rain looking for breakfast for Biddy. And also just be aware that the camera actually flicks between night mode and day mode just as it's very dark outside still. So hopefully that's the last we see of that cat. I can't say I'm happy to see the cat there. I would love if cats were kept inside at night, but I don't have control of other people's pets, unfortunately. And at 3:30 in the morning, there's not really too much anyone can really do about it. And it has to be said, I've nothing really against cats. I would just much prefer if they were kept indoors at night, especially around this time of year, as fledglings and nestlings have no defense against such predators. And this brings us to an absolute saturated Mindy. Just look how wet the bird is. It was really raining cats and dogs. No pun intended. And we actually notice a little bit of a decrease in Mindy's nest building today. As the nest is near completion, there's just less to do. But that's not to say she doesn't work. Mindy puts in loads of effort nonetheless in just doing her finishing touches, and she concentrates today on bringing in loads of soft material and making this nest as cozy as can be. And it really won't be too long until we see eggs in this nest. And I can promise you in the next video that we have some egg hatching. So look forward to that. And it's also worth me saying that I'm seeing the nest a little bit ahead of time than the editing. So I actually know how things play out a little bit, but I'm always going to keep the format as it was and explain it as it's happening in relation to the videos. So with Biddy incubating her eggs and Mindy completing her nest, I'm gonna leave it there. And as always, thank you so much for watching. It always means a great deal to me seeing everyone watching, interacting and commenting. So keep doing that. Please like and subscribe if you like. And I will see you in the next video. Mind yourselves. Bye bye.